My name is Dennis Sproul. If you've been involved in an accident, call me and I'll fight for you. I'm not an actor or a celebrity spokesperson. I'm a real trial lawyer, and I'll appear before real judges and real juries on behalf of people with serious injuries. So when I say I'll fight for you, I mean it, and I'll back it up. If you've been hurt in an automobile or 18-wheeler accident, contact me toll free at 866-529-2444, and I'll fight for your rights.
This is a good dude, y'all. Coming in story, man, big time lawyer out here in Texas, man. He not tell a story, and y'all need to do the same.
Well, my books, I started writing these books in 2011, and they're called
Yeah, there we go.
Rules to Live By, How to Maintain Peace of Mind and Happiness in a Conflicted World. And you can get them on Amazon, and you can download them directly off Amazon and Kindle. Just look up Dennis Sperling, which is my name, Dennis Sperling, and type in Amazon. They'll come right up. If you want a hard copy, you can email me at sperlingdennis@gmail.com. If you want a copy of the books, and I'm telling you, I give you a lot of different scenarios. There's some child support stuff in here, but it's mostly a lot of different areas which I've had to deal with in my personal life. Those of you guys who have sons who have you just met, or sons who are separated from you, if you one of those young men, and I call myself the lost son, and I actually wrote a lot of music, man. Come to find out, man, I'm related to B.B. King through my grandmother. It was her cousin. That's like my cousin. So
he from Mississippi too.
Yeah. Her name was Elmira King. He was B.B. King. They were cousins, and they all lived out in that area, And so come to find out, man, music is in my blood. So I end up doing 7 albums with Beans and Cornbread. They produced Slim Thug, Paul Wall. Okay. I actually have a track with Paul Wall from back in the day. It's called Grown Man Stuff. But, that's not something I want to go into. But bottom line is that creativity allows me to be who I am. But the books, you can find them on Amazon. You can do the Kindle thing. They're very interesting. They're a wonderful read. You can probably read them in 2 or 3 days, but they're great for young men who have grown up, who haven't had their fathers. It basically deals with everything that we as Black American men have had to deal with in the past 40 years.
Man, I was like, man, I was checking you out. I'm like, damn, this man a real deal. So yeah, definitely, man. We all got to reach back. You know what I'm saying? And we right now, like with Kev, we got Donovan, we got all these different brothers put in a network. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's using their talents to help each other get to the next level. Definitely love to bring you into the fold.
Definitely. You guys are amazing. All you guys, I just love to hear my Black brothers speaking their mind. I just want to hear you all say what it is that you want to say and speak on your behalf, because I know you're a little bit younger than I am, man, but hell, since the 1980s, all I've been hearing is Black men get bashed. They ain't this, they ain't that. We've had nobody to speak up on our behalf, so we've been told just to shut up and take it, be the strong, silent type. It's not manly for you to speak up. How dare you argue with these women, blah, 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 even if what they're saying is outright lies and what we know not to be true. Even in our religious, whether it's whether it's the church or the Black Muslims or any of these type of folks, it's always seemed like they rather bash the men as opposed to hold the ladies accountable. And that's unfortunate, because you've created this one-sided war, and you have one side that has no accountability for what they've done. And then now what? Look at where we are as a culture.
Brother DeBell 5000 got a question. Is there any way for family court laws to change if men and real women push to change it? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the fact that you have more women being forced to pay child support and alimony is probably the only thing that's going to make them say we need to change these laws. Because as long as it was one-sided and it was men paying women for the past, I don't know how many years, at least since the 90s.
lot
a
of
lot
years.
of years,
A lot of years.
then there was no incentive for women to even want to change anything because that's their fallback plan. I marry a rich guy, have some kids, I divorce him, I'm good. But right. But now that women are being forced to have to ante up, I think there is some incentive for it to change. And here's another thing: a lot of those ladies who have sons who they've seen been manhandled by the child support system, they should become advocates for family law reform. I think one thing we should do is we should begin to do away with child support altogether.
Like they use Black men as a catalyst to get more funding for themselves to go in a different direction. What are your thoughts on Black Lives Matter as an organization?
I am not happy with Black Lives Matter as an organization. In fact, I'm absolutely disgusted by Black Lives Matter as an organization. These vultures, what they do is whenever a Black man is shot by a white cop or a white race soldier or one of these white suburban commandos, they come in to protest, and they only come in to protest if those Black men's lives fit a certain narrative. So Black Lives Matter is a very disingenuous organization. It talks about marching and protesting, but if we look at who they're marching and protesting for, oftentimes it is, again, Black men who are Pookies and Ray Rays who are shot and killed by a white police officer, a race soldier, or one of these white suburban commandos. They go out here, they kick up a fuss with this protesting, and they really are not anything about Black men or Black men's issues. Because when I look at Black Lives Matter, they don't talk about Black men's issues.
Dramatization.
After a car wreck, you may have to fight with a highly trained insurance company rep whose job is to knock your damaged claim down and out. It's a bad idea to enter the ring alone against a trained boxer, and it could be a bad idea to fight against a big insurance company by yourself. When the bell rings, attorney Dennis Sperling will be there to fight for your rights. If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck, call me, attorney Dennis Sperling, at 866-529-2444. That's 866-529-2444. Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App, make sure you contribute to the PayPal, make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going. Thanks.
Attorney, reality show creator, and rapper Dennis Sperling. Also joining us is Sperling's good friends, Vondrick Christmas and Dion Dorsett. Welcome to the Factor Uncensored.
What's up, Isaac?
Now, here's the thing. I've been reading your Facebook posts for years, and this is what you've been espousing. You're saying, I need to leave this country to find a good woman.
Yeah. Okay. See, first of all,
no backtracking
really like
now.
The way you
no
brought us in here
backtracking.
like that, man. We don't need the smoke, man. We don't need that type of smoke. Okay. What happened was I got divorced, and I looked around and I said, you know, I want to change, you know, and I never really traveled. I went to school. These guys went to school with me, and they know all we did was study. And so I got married. That didn't work out. I got divorced, and then I said, well, you know what? Let me get a passport and see what that's like. So I started traveling overseas. I went to the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, all over London, Europe, things that I had never done before, and I liked it, and I liked what I saw, and I enjoyed myself. And when I did decide to date, I got treated like a king, so I go where I'm celebrated. You know, and that's basically it.
You're not celebrated here in the United States like you want to be.
Okay, see, what had happened was I got divorced. You know, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My Facebook posts are real, but really they're the feelings that a lot of African American men and men in general feel. They say, look, the juice is not worth the squeeze. I work all my life. I do everything I can to please my wife, and then she divorces me. 70% of marriages are brought to divorce by the women in those relationships. So clearly people aren't happy. Look at the marriage rate. Look at the depression rate that we have. I think people need to get out a little bit more. But more importantly, you know, it's something that I like. These guys, I know that they don't feel the same way I do, because my Facebook page has a diverse group of guys with different ideas. And so this is just what works for me, you know?
And so what works for you guys?
So I would say that
and then it depends on what type of
And
man
is
you are.
anything wrong with that?
Nothing.
Requiring more?
No, it's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just, you know, those expectations seem for some guys maybe a little bit much.
I argue all day, and I don't have time to come home and argue.
And so that's what you get with
I don't
you perceive to be an American woman.
I think that American women, they have so much pressure on them that it's nearly impossible for them to fulfill those traditional roles that women have fulfilled all the way up until the 50s, when industrialization and it's impossible for them to do that. So the culture and what we have going on here in the United States makes it impossible to have one of those traditional relationships. Whereas in Colombia or the Dominican Republic or Haiti, the women, they still have that culture that says, hey, I'm cooking and cleaning for my man, but hey, there's some responsibilities on the men too, because those women, they still want men that take care of business, that go to work, that pay bills. So you have you have a role you have to fill, and she has a role she has to fill. So it's not like I'm just going down there sitting up on the sofa and she's making mango every day, feeding me like I'm a king.
You never get flack from, I hate to say it, man, but you're a successful brother.
Yeah.
And I'm a successful man. I don't get flack from my peers. I don't get flack from guys that are up here doing the things we're doing, regardless of where the comment is. You tend to get flack from guys who are not where they want to be.
Right.
And it's like, look, man. And here's one thing that's unique about the Black community. We got the barbershop experience, and that takes anywhere from the homeless dude to the D-boy to the corporate exec. We all go to the same spot, and that's one thing that's unique about us is the socioeconomic groups we mix, and we all look at each other as men. And I'm like, no, there's white men, non-Black men have long been able to do all these things, but when Black men just do what's normal and natural, we're muted. And that's what brothers are finally starting to push back and fight against, because that's crazy to think that you shouldn't have a younger woman, especially if you can pay the cost to be the boss and provide. That's the ideal situation.
It is
ideal situation, because she never has to go outside and work and get outside of her femininity.
It seems to me, for those who say this is bad for the Black community, it would seem to me that the perfect pairing is a mature older man with resources who's proven himself, and a younger fertile woman who can come together and reproduce children in a safe family environment. I believe in marriage. I don't like the family laws that are set up but I do believe in marriage. I think men are better in marriage when they have loving women who care for them, who are reciprocate, who are feminine, and who are there to help them be the best men they can be. I believe in marriage. I just don't like the way the system is set up. Now, there are some things you can do to mitigate that: prenuptial agreements, postnuptial agreements, have an understanding, put some money in trust account. So you can eliminate the financial incentive in getting a divorce, and there you are. Now you got a person in front of you. But
I'm glad that we actually got a high value man. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. I'm not sure if you've been following the high value movement, but you know what I'm saying, you definitely would fit that description. I mean, a lawyer, you know what I'm saying? You went about it the right way. You're married. Unfortunately, the marriage didn't work out, but you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. And what you have to do is co-parent. And we hear the women all the time tell us stories about how I'm such a good, we co-parent good. It's always the women talking about it. You know what I'm saying? But you as a black man, high value black man, it's very important that you get a perspective and give the brothers the right advice as far as co-parenting. And it seems like that's been the bulk of your work, you know what I'm saying? Outside of the law, you know, you've been really pushing for co-parenting and just showing the dynamics of it and how it should work and how it can work in harmony. Because again, you don't have no ill will against your wife. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying it on your show.
You know what I'm saying? So you ain't cooking her. So I mean, it seems like everything, you know, you got everything copacetic. So talk to the brothers who may be going through a divorce.
Well,
who may be in a situation where, look, man, I had a kid with this woman and I got all these things going, but I'm trying to make sure I keep harmony for the sake of the kids, because that's who it's about.
Well, let me say this, brother. I got divorced for a reason.
Okay.
And I, in the wake of that divorce, 5 years thereafter, I got myself what's called a baby mama. I don't know if you've heard of that, but life got real.
I've heard of that. Have we heard of that, church?
Yeah, it got complicated after that happened because the children were born under two separate circumstances. So I can pull from both of these, you know, to kind of explain, you know, what happened. Now, I would suggest that you never get a baby mama if you can avoid one, but it happened to me. But basically I think my point is you can't co-parent with everyone, period. If you weren't married to that woman, if you were married to a woman, hopefully you guys came to an accord at some point and you can use that as a foundation to begin to co-parent and do what's in the best interest of the child. Now, if you had one night where you turned up at the club and you just randomly met some woman and you have nothing in common with her and you don't know much about her and you guys have two different set of principles and understanding about how life should be and how children should raise, it's going to be very difficult for you to co-parent with that person. So
is that the case with the baby mama?
Probably so.
Hi, my name is Dennis Sperling. I'm not a lawyer, but my daddy is. Yeah, if you've been hurt in a car accident, call my daddy. No need to scream and yell like a little kid. Yeah, no, my daddy will fight for your rights. Yeah, fight for your rights. If you've been involved in a car accident, call my daddy, returning Dennis Sperling.
Hello, I'm attorney Dennis Sperling. If you've been injured in a car wreck, call me at 713-229-0770.
Call my daddy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App, make sure you contribute to the PayPal, make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going. Thanks.
Understanding about life. I know what it is to be with a woman and how you have to treat a woman and how you have to pick and select a woman. And you do a great job at explaining to these young men what they don't want and what they should be looking after. I didn't have somebody like you when I was a young man. You see,
yeah. Do you believe in marriage, and would you get married again?
I would definitely get married again. It would definitely be a different kind of woman. It would definitely be a woman not from the toxic culture that I was raised in. Okay. And so it's not a race thing, it's a culture thing. Okay. Let me say that again for the people in the back. It's not a race thing, it's a culture thing. I typically have only dated Black women, Black American women. I tried to date the Jamaican lady who ended up being my child's mother, but she was Black American in her culture because she was raised in the United States. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't good women out there, but what I'm saying is you're looking at a toxic culture that does not put the family first. They put the me first. They put the get the bag first. And so it's impossible to have a union with somebody like that. And we got a lot of stuff going on politically. And the question that I presented today for the brothers here is, this is my statement. Just because Trump has been voted out doesn't mean that the show is over. 70 million fervent followers voted for him in 2020, despite knowing all of his shortcomings. Trump is a symptom. He is a reflection of how nearly one half of Americans feel. How does this affect Black men? Let's talk about it. And as the opening statement, it was 2021 and beyond, 70 million Trump voters aren't going anywhere. Look, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that 5 people have been shot and killed in Washington, D.C. As of now, related to the protest outside the Capitol building. One of them is this gentleman, Benjamin Phillips. He basically runs a Trump website, pro-Trump website called Trumparoo, where patriots can mobilize against the corrupt, communist, Marxist, scummy Democrats. Here's another one. We just learned avid Trump supporter Kevin Greeson, who regularly posted online about getting his guns and taking the country back, was one of the 4 people who died in the siege. It was 5 people who died in the siege of the Capitol. Post from Greeson wishing bad things to happen to Nancy Pelosi and identifying with the Proud Boys were found as well. So here's what I'm saying, fellas. You know, these guys, these people are not going anywhere.
And just explain to them generally.
Well, the context of that video was me making a commentary on how people are not really looking objectively at your Donald Trump. And because they're not looking at him objectively, they are approaching him from a position, as I see it, of obsession. Because when I look at the way the Congress has been acting, I look at the way the Senate has been acting, I look at the way people on the street have been acting, and it's like they're not thinking critically or objectively about anything Donald Trump is about. They're coming at it from this position of this extreme emotion. And because they're coming from this extreme emotion, they only think from this perspective of obsessively about Donald Trump. It's all about either you're extremely for Trump or you're extremely against Trump. And these people who are obsessed with Donald Trump, they aren't really thinking about the harm they're doing to the American people.
I will scream and I will holler. Then I'll scream and holler some more, saying absolutely nothing.
You have a choice in legal representation. And in making that choice, do you want an attorney with a made-for-TV nickname to represent you in your serious car wreck claim?
I will growl, kick, and scream.
My name is Dennis Sperling. If you've been involved in a motor vehicle accident, contact me toll-free at 866-529-2444. The choice is yours. Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App, make sure you contribute to the PayPal, make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going. Thanks. Good morning, brothers. This is Dennis Sperling. And wrapping up my trip, and I'm about to head home tomorrow. And I wanted to talk to you black men in the United States about something. I want you to hear me out. Now, for the past 10 years, more or less, we watched black men be shot down by the police for little to nothing. Traffic stops. Philando Castile, he was cooperating with the officer.
this recent young man, Botham Jean, he was just sitting in his house eating some ice cream, and he was killed too. And the response to that has been, well, the officer's innocent, or we're just going to give this officer a little bit of time. So that lets us know that society doesn't really value our lives. Over the past 40 or 50 years, we've been at odds with black women, or openly at odds. I'm not saying it wasn't like that before. I just think over the past 40 or 50 years, black women were forced to deal with us because they didn't have any other options. Segregation kept them in the black community, forced them to have to date black men, and limited their options seriously or tremendously. But once they received the option of being free, working, they decided to basically voice their true opinions of black men. And over the past 10 years, since the rise of social media, which gives black men an opportunity to engage in this conversation, this back and forth, it's been basically a gender war. And so it's gotten to the point where there's a lot of animosity in the black community, and for the most part, I don't think that's going to change. Black women basically say that black men aren't good enough. We're unable to give them the things that white men are able to give white women. That's who they're comparing us with. Really, it's not the money, it's the social status. Because there are plenty of black people who are tremendously wealthy. And despite popular belief, most white people are not wealthy. So it's also the social status that comes along with whiteness, that comes along with being the dominant males in a society or the lead group in a particular country. And we can't give that to black women in the United States, so they take it out on us because of that. So you got a society in a whole that doesn't value our lives. You got women that don't appreciate us or understand or want to understand our particular unique situation, in that we were a people, black men especially, who were hauled away from our country, our native land, sold 4 or 5 times, until we were finally thrown on ships and brought to the Americas, North America, Central America, South America, the Caribbean. And we've had to deal with oppression since then. Purposeful, directed oppression that keeps us economically disenfranchised, isolated, and our opportunities to create and enjoy real wealth at an absolute minimum. Now, some of us will and have done well for ourselves. It's financially, but that still doesn't change our social status, because our social status, whether you are a Botham Jean or whether you are a Trayvon Martin, a successful guy who has a great job, loved by his employers, no record, or a young kid who maybe had some hood tendencies like many of us did, you're still valued the same. Your social status is still the same. As a black man, you're low on the totem pole. So what do? You got society looking at you. You got your women looking at you like you're not of high value. And then we don't run our communities. We've been purposely disenfranchised from the leadership roles in our community, and those have been given to black women because they've been given opportunities that we don't have. It's a lot easier for a black woman to get a job than it is for a black man, especially if you're considering government, other than the military, you know. But so that's given them
the say-so in the community because they earned the bread. Now, of course, that is not across the board, and I'm very proud of what we as black men have accomplished in America, but my whole point is this. You need to go where you're celebrated. It seems to me we're merely tolerated in the United States. We just simply have people that see us as providing a service, and so we're tolerated. We're given the absolute minimum and expected to appreciate that, because even with that, we are not deserving. So when someone like me says, you know what, I'm going to, as a black man, I'm from America, I'm going to go to another country where I will be served and treated like a lord of a manor, where I will be told and verbally and through actions, it will be expressed to me how much I'm appreciated. And not only that, what that means is I get good food, smiling faces, beautiful women, people that are happy to work for me, to help me build businesses. And this is what being appreciated feels like. So if I decide that this is better for me than the United States, no one should have a problem with that. Unfortunately, people do. And the reason that they have a problem with that, black man, is because they don't feel you are worthy of good treatment. Isn't that something? They don't feel like, as a black man, you're worthy, because not only have you been told that you're unworthy, your mother told you you were unworthy. And those of us who had good mothers, our society, coming from our kindergarten teachers, preschool, all the way up to any university that you attend, you're told that you're unworthy, or you don't deserve this, or you're not supposed to be here. And if they don't verbalize it, then they treat you like that. So you, black men, have always been treated like you're unworthy. And so what that does is it creates a sort of low self-esteem, a chronic, epidemic low self-esteem amongst black men. Not all of us, but the vast majority of us have that little voice in us that makes us think we're not worthy, because we hear those voices and we hear the messages society has sent to us through the people around us and the places we go, the media, the music, the television, the movies, all the images, the books, hearsay tells us that we're not worthy. And so it takes a lot for a black man to say, you know what, I am worthy. I am worthy of good treatment. I desire good treatment. I'm owed that. And then to break out of what a lot of you young brothers call the plantation, the matrix, the United States, where we're treated so bad. Because I promise you, brothers, it's better to be around people that look like you, that appreciate you just for you being who you are, than to try to force people who have shown you a history of treating you bad to try to treat you good, because they won't change. So I ask you young brothers, I challenge you young brothers to love yourselves and to appreciate yourselves even when no one else does. It doesn't matter what your mother said. It doesn't matter what your father said or the men told you about how you have to live to exist. It's not true. There are places in this world where the cultures are different, and they will respect you as a man for the man you are. And that doesn't mean You can be a fool or a sucker. You good men and you know who you are. Good man is often translated by people to mean something that it's not. It's not that hard. Are you taking care of yourself? Do you have a job? Are you responsible? Those are good qualities for men. Are you fair-minded? Are you honest? Are you trustworthy? Do you handle your business? Those are good qualities. People can't ask you for much more than that. And if you've had to overcome so many things to get to the point where you are now, that means you're also tough and you can weather the storm. But what I'm telling you fellas is, man, go where you appreciate it. Now, I'm headed home tomorrow, back to the U.S. My daily life in the U.S. consists of me getting up in the morning at about 5:30, reading the news or reading the newspaper, watching the news. About 7:30, I start sending assignments to my office, staff, checking emails, figuring out what my daily agenda will be. If I have court, then I'm going to start getting ready to go to court. If not, then I'll head to the office. Or if I want to take a day off and work from home, which I can do, I'll exercise, run my errands, and then around about 2:30, 3 o'clock, I'm going to go pick up my kids from school, take them to karate, take them to their jiu-jitsu classes, take them wherever, and then take them to their mother's house. Or take them to dinner and then take them to their mother's house. On my weekends, and then after that, I'm asleep by 7:45. What you've seen me do, blow off this steam over the past 10 days here in my island home in the Dominican Republic, I do this maybe once every 6 weeks, just because my regimen is so strict. I don't go out to clubs. The only time I go to dinner is with my boys, my sons. And you guys have seen me out on dinners. We dress up, we talk, we have our conversations. That's it. And so I don't go to church. I don't go to the mosque. Every now and then I go visit my friends at the mosque, but not too often. Every now and then I go to church, but I don't go on a regular basis. I don't go to clubs in the United States. I don't really even go to social events. Like, I've been invited to a lot of different Halloween parties and different parties, Christmas parties. I don't go to family vacations. I don't go visit my family on holidays, anything. This is what happens when you realize that the people around you haven't been treating you right. And then you've been somewhere where they do treat you right. See, I get treated better here by these people that I'm not related to directly than I do by my own family. I get treated better here in a club than I do by people in my own black community in the United States when I party with them. I get treated better here by the women that don't know me than the women that should know me and should know my history as an American descendant of slaves. That's what I'm telling you, fellas. And it's because they see me as a man, and they see me as a man with these good qualities that they recognize as good qualities. So it doesn't take that much, fellas. You presenting yourself as who you are is all you need to do. And anybody that can't appreciate that, man, there's something lacking in them. So, man, stop questioning yourself. That's just low self-esteem. Stop questioning yourself. It's not you, fellas, it's them. And irrespective of what they say, none of these black men that we see getting shot down deserve to die. Just like none of you black men in America deserve to be called beta males or simps or suckers. You're good men. You're trying. You just haven't been around the right people who appreciate you. That's it. This is this is a message for just a few. All of you guys aren't going to get this. Some of you all think it's a ramble, but I know where you are right now because I was there maybe 15 years ago. I was there, and that's when I started looking. Now, the advantage that many of you have over me and many of the guys that came up before me and at my age is you have somebody that's right here that you can access that is showing you proof and pictures and video and everything I can, and giving you messages on the daily telling you it's better. The grass is greener. In fact, they got pineapples and coconuts and fruits and all kinds of stuff over there. That's what I'm telling, stuff that you like. Now, for some people, the United States is great. If you're a immigrant from Mexico, my God, the United States is filled with vast opportunities. And you got a whole Latin culture supporting you, and a whole intact culture of family and friends supporting you in the United States. If you're a white guy, you got the infrastructure laid out for you. If you're an Asian, my God, we got billions of dollars. We got Asian towns in every country, and every city and town. America is great for you. If you're Arab, same thing. You coming from over there and you got your engineering degree and whatnot. You got a structure. Black people have a structure, but it's diminishing, and the people aren't cooperating, so it's going to falter. We don't have communities. We have enclaves of black people. I live in one, but we don't have communities where we work together. It's failing. It's failing because we're not getting along. So Black America is on the downturn. And so what you see is a lot of black brothers saying, you know what, I'm out of here. This doesn't work for me. And then you think, well, there's nowhere else I can go. So instead of saying, well, I'm not going to dinner, I'm not going to, well, this is what, so you're not going to church, you're not really working, you're not going to school, you're not motivated, you're not really dating seriously, but then there's no other options. And I'm telling you, you know what, there is, because I'm doing the same thing. I've separated myself from society to a certain extent too. I don't have an appetite for it. It's no different than, you know what, you've been feeding me chicken guts all these years, and now I'm eating ribeye steaks. So why would I go back to eating chicken gizzards and guts? I'm not gonna do it. You see, I'd rather just not eat and then go eat somewhere else and eat this foolishness that you're trying to feed me. You telling me I'm not good enough. You telling me that I need to do more. And now I'm somewhere where I recognize that I've done plenty. I've done enough. I've done a lot. You see? That's where I'm at now. And that's why I want you boys to get at. You got to appreciate yourselves. Start with that. You got to get over that low self-esteem. I know your mama said you wasn't shit. You look just like your daddy. He ain't shit. You ain't going to be shit. I know she called you nappy-headed when you was little. I know all the stuff she said. I know she put your ass out the house at 13, 14, told you to be a man, and you didn't even know what being a man was. I know you ever overheard your mama having sex conversations with this man and that man growing up. I know all that, brother. I know all that. So you got little trust and little respect for her, but she has so much control over it, and so either you deal with it and you understand it, but that play with your self-esteem, because if you don't know who your daddy is good and your mama ain't shit, so now you looking at yourself like, damn, look where I come from. But that's not where you come from, man. You come from God. See, you're God's child. That's the first thing I want you brothers to understand. And you don't owe any allegiance to anybody for your life but God. And that's what I want y'all to understand. These parents that give birth to us, and the fathers that plant the seed so the women can give birth, they are just farmers. The seed comes from God. That spirit comes from God. That soul comes from God. You are God's child. This is just flesh. This is going to fall away, but that soul is going to remain. You're God's child. This is God's earth. You have an obligation to your Father, the Most High God, to find peace of mind and happiness. And if you're surrounded by people, if you're in places, and if you're surrounded by things that are making you unhappy and interfering with your peace of mind and happiness, you have an obligation to leave those people. I don't care if it's your mama, your daddy, your sister, your auntie, a job, a girlfriend, a child, a car, a house, anything that's interfering with your peace of mind and happiness. You leave that alone and you find somewhere for yourself that you can have peace of mind and happiness. And you don't apologize for doing what's in your own best interest. There are a lot of black men who start using drugs and alcohol and contemplating suicide or lashing out, being violent. Because what? because they can't get at the ones they're afraid to address the ones that they should address for their unhappiness. So they lash out in other ways. They're angry with their baby mama for calling them all kind of names and punks. You fag, you punk, you sissy, you ain't shit, you bitch ass, and N-word. You know the words. So you go lash out at this brother who looks at you crazy at the gas station because your baby mama done got you turned up, or your girlfriend, or your wife. Because she doesn't respect you. I've never had that happen to me since I stopped dating American women. And I only dated black American women. And the problem is they don't respect us because of those reasons I told you earlier. You see? Because we can't give them, in that society, we can't give them what white men give white women. So, you know me, I don't believe in hitting my head against a brick wall. I'm trying to knock that wall down. I'm going to go ahead and pass on that task. That's me. And that's because I understand that, some things just out of my control. You're not going to you're not going to change the United States, fellas. You're just going to be another Botham Jean. Your sons are just going to be another Trayvon Martin. And if not literally, then figuratively. You're just going to be discarded. Just going to use you up and discard you. I'm asking you to be kings somewhere. I'm asking you to be a king and claim your land. These quotes, these things that I'm saying, these are all quotes from my books, brothers. My books, Rules to Live By, How to Maintain Peace of Mind and Happiness, is not my story. It is our story. And it is relevant right now. It teaches you how to begin to love yourself, and it explains to you why peace of mind and happiness is so important and how to attain it. It's not my story, brothers. It's our story. I suggest you all buy those books while you can. They're online, but I also have a few hard copies if you don't want to deal with Kindle. But the messages that I deliver here only give you a pittance of the knowledge and information that I share with you all in those books. I'm just asking you to find your peace of mind and happiness because we need more brothers to be at peace with themselves and their surroundings. Once that happens, once we get ourselves together, everything else will change. That's when God can come back into your life, when you have peace and happiness. God is not coming into a house filled with hell and destruction. He's not coming into your temple if you contemplating hate and anger all the time because you're surrounded by people who are hateful and angry. God can't enter, the devil and God can't dwell in the same house at the same time. This is your house. This is your temple, this body. You can't be full of hell and have God there with you. So I'm asking you to find peace of mind and happiness because until you find that, you can't find God. And until you find God, you're not going to get the blessings you deserve. I'm much better now, fellas. And I want you to be like this. I just want you to be happy. It doesn't matter if you come to the Caribbean. It could be somewhere else. Or maybe you're happy in the United States. Maybe you good. And I'm okay with that, okay? All I'm doing is suggesting to the men who are not happy, who are realizing, I don't like the way I'm being treated. I don't like this society that I live in that treats me like I'm a third or fourth class citizen, that gives no responsibility, allots no responsibility to those who destroy our lives, and to the people that looks like us. We get over incarcerated, underemployed, murdered by the police, murdered by each other. We don't even appreciate each other. Disrespected by our children, disrespected or ignored by our children, undermine our children, our women undermine us in front of our children, and we get disrespected by our women. I can't do it, man. I'm gonna say this and wrap it up, and I know I'm in ranting again. I apologize, but it's on my mind to do it. I was always one who was just happy. Give me a crumb in the corner and I'm happy. You know, I used to give people so much credit for just little things that they did for me because I was just so appreciative because nobody ever really did anything for me. You know, my mother abandoned me, told me to go live with her boyfriend, who was basically my foster father, sent me off, you know, 1,000 miles away. You know, before that, she told me, yeah, I tried to abort you, and I was planning on taking you to the abortion clinic and getting rid of you. I took a bunch of pills to get rid of you. You know, when that comes from your mother, as a young boy, she tells you that. And then on top of telling you, hey, you know, the father that I gave you is not really your real father. But go live with him anyway, him and his wife, and I'm going to be out here partying. You know, this is what my own mother told me. I was passed from house to house, and then even when I would come home and visit my mom, my grandmother would be the one that was taking care of me. So, you know, coming from a situation like that, and then also the abuse that I suffered, and the abuse I suffered in my foster home, and the violence that I saw in the streets of South Central Los Angeles, you know, I was just happy for anything. You see what I mean? It made me a very humble person. I appreciate that. That's why the Lord works with me. You see what I'm saying? I started off with nothing, man. And I want you boys to recognize that it doesn't matter where you start, okay? It just matters where you finish. But my main thing for you guys is, man, you have every opportunity and have every right to be happy. And I was always one that was just happy with whatever somebody gave me. Little crumbs. I was always happy, very appreciative. And then I start being able to take care of myself. And I was appreciative of the little things I have. I never wanted anything that anybody else had. I just wanted my own, you see? And so I want you fellas to be humble, but also recognize your worth. I'm not saying, hey, you know, you deserve a kingdom. But what I'm telling you is you deserve your peace of mind and happiness. So it's okay to be humble and be appreciative of the things that other people do for you and the little things, whatever it is. Be appreciative of it. But that's not your whole gift basket, so to speak. There's more that you're entitled to. Don't just settle for the little crumbs that people give you off their table. Go get your own. Okay? Go get your own wherever it is. And damn cat over there. What's up, Blue? Well, anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up, man. I know I'm ranting a little bit, man, but I just, it was on my heart to just talk to you brothers this morning about going where you appreciate it, man, and not just taking the crumbs that people give you. We getting crumbs in the United States. Not all of us. Even if you're getting money, you know, they can shoot you down like a dog, and it wouldn't matter if you're a millionaire or a pauper. You know, it doesn't matter if you're an NFL player or you know, with millions of dollars or some dude, you know, homeless dude. We all just seen as black men with low social status. So, man, go somewhere. If you got money, man, get out of the U.S., man. I'm happy to see LeBron James was down here in Puerto Plata hanging out. You know, it's letting me know that life can be better. You know, and other people are recognizing it. Take your money and leave, man. You don't have to leave the whole, you know, United States in total. Keep doing business. You know, keep doing business. Keep making that money, but you know, recognize it, man. Life can be better other places. You know, and that's it, man. I don't have a whole lot more to say, man, other than I love you brothers, man, and this message is coming from a place of love. And I'm not here to tell you to disrespect black women. I'm just pointing out the fact that we're not getting along. You know, I never really liked to be disrespected. I never really was very tolerant of that sort of treatment. So I can't do it, you know. And so I stayed married for about 4 years. I couldn't do it. So I tried, you know, I couldn't do it. And so some of you are suffering that. Some of you are saying, man, I don't want to go that route. I see what these other guys are going. I'm saying just explore the world before you decide. And I think what's going to happen, man, the vast majority of you boys, once y'all get out there and get some of that good treatment, man, you're not going back to getting disrespected and mistreated. Anyway, this is Dennis, raw and unfiltered, man. I love you guys. And y'all have a great day. I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers. I love to see these responses, man. I hope this hits somebody where it needs to. And it's not something that happens overnight. You'll get there, fellas. You'll get there. Just work towards it. Keep your head on straight. Stay out of trouble. Pay your taxes. Keep them women. Keep the condoms on. Keep the babies out of these women. You see what I mean? And you'll be able to make better decisions because you won't have any baggage and luggage weight holding you down. God bless you. Love you. You all have a great week.
Hey, if you're enjoying the content here at Dennis Sperling Unfiltered, make sure you support it by sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And also, hit that little notification bell in the corner so that you'll get notice of each and every one of our live feeds.